Carnival, brought to you by Tab. We're on. You win some, you lose more.
My name's Sam Friedman. I'm a horse trainer. I've been training.
And JD with the 3 head trainers here at Lindsay Park.
I'm Calvin McAvoy, racehorse trainer based here in Victoria.
Okay, that's good.
My father's Anthony Friedman. My uncle's Lee. I've got Michael, Richard. They're all brothers, so I've come from a family that's been in racing for quite a long time. She feels okay? Yep.
The pioneer, and then it's passed through quite a number of different people, from our Uncle Peter to Dad, and now to us. And there was also Tony McAvoy.
My father, Tony McAvoy, he's been training quite a while. He worked for the famous Lindsay Park family for about 40 years.
Behind them, here's
Mackay Diva was probably the mare that probably lit a spark in me.
What a champion becomes a legend! Mackay Diva has won it
From that moment, I think, Anthony, my father, he would probably say from then, I was always obsessed with the game. Yeah, okay, Matt? Yeah, good. She feels okay, Bronte? She's okay?
Yeah, she's good.
For us, it's definitely a passion that's sort of probably been cultured from a young age, but yeah, it's certainly a lifestyle, not a job.
Coming through with my old man being a trainer, it presented a good opportunity, and we're very lucky. Sam Friedman the same, the Hayes boys the same. It's a hard game to get support and to build a business. I can speak for myself and also those boys that we're coming in very privileged, but you still need to work hard and get results.
For me, it's been a case of, you've got a foot in the door now, smash the door down and make the most of it.
Without a fight, Mark Zara, a Melbourne Cup champion.
For Anthony and Sam Friedman, the Melbourne Cup tradition continues.
To see Sam and Calvin and Tony and all having success is just great to see. They're essentially really good family friends, so like always, you love to see them do well, and we also love to beat them.
Hayes boys and I played footy together at Angaston. They were a little bit better than me, but I feel like I helped their careers a bit.
Calvin's best attribute on the footy field was his banter. Yeah, he had the quickest tongue on the footy field. If Calvin was a horse, he probably couldn't quite make city grade. He'd probably be looking for a weaker jurisdiction.
So the Hayes boys are, which one of the 3 turn up?
I've known Calvin since we were pretty much in nappies. We used to get thrown into a hotel room at the Magic Millions horse sale. They're playing G1 Jockey on the PlayStation.
There was quite a few family holidays up at the Gold Coast there at the sales, and plenty of banter to pull from because we've known each other since we were knee-high to a grasshopper.
If those boys turned up to a yearling sale as a yearling, they'd probably be $1 million yearlings. Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah, it's quite funny because Dad had to take on the 3 Friedman brothers back in their generation, but now Sam's got to take on us 3.
We've grown up with it. We were never pushed into this industry at all. I remember Dad saying, once you commit, you have to commit. If you treat it like your life and your passion, that's when you enjoy it, and then it doesn't become work.
It's a special game, it's a hard game, but the thrills that it can bring, I don't think you can find that anywhere.
What a great story, and of course, you look at the Cummings family on Derby Day. Part 53 winners, his father James 9, his son James 9, grandson James, I'll have another go, Jim, his father 4, and Anthony 4 for a total of 70. But today's the first day in 68 years, going back to 1957, that no member of the Cummings family has a runner here at Flemington on Derby Day. So an amazing run for the Cummings family comes to an end today. What a great story it has been. Bart with 53, James 9, Jim 4, and Anthony 4 on Derby Day. Speaking of Derby Days, we go to...
3 big tracks this Saturday. Tab. We're on.
What are you really gambling with?
At the Coolmore Stud Stakes next up, then the Howden Victoria Derby, the feature of the day, and then straight after that, of course, the Empire Rose Stakes brought to you by Tab as well. It's all still to come right here, and this is just the opening day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and I'm pleased to say what a treat it is on a day like today to be standing out here on this patch of grass, not only alongside my mate Francesca Camardi, but our Melbourne Cup
winning jockey and colleague for the Cup Carnival as well in Michelle Payne. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and you're here at the right time as well. Look, of course, 10 years since Prince of Penzance and your famous ride. We'll be talking a lot about that on Tuesday. And I know there's a special ceremony to be held. But today, the excitement that builds to this point on Derby Day when you know you've got these three huge races in front of you, it's something different, isn't it?
It is. Derby Day is like Christmas for us in racing because every race is a group race, as you know, and now we're building to the big three. We've got so much class and quality here. It's so exciting to see who's going to take them home.
And whilst the Derby is the feature race on the day, in name, and it has been for a really long time. However, the importance and the prestige of the Coolmore has been building gradually over the years, similar in terms of prize money, but in terms of the value of the horses coming out of it. Win the Coolmore and you're sitting on a pretty good prospect for the future, aren't you?
Exactly. You can make a $20 million colt here, so it's very exciting for everybody involved. I think it's a really good race. It's probably not the most quality field we've ever seen, but it's really even in the field, so it's hard to pick a winner. I'm going with a bit of not a roughie, but he's not the favourite, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see.
All right, the three of us need to scoot from here. We don't want to hold up the horses for the Coolmore, where it is very much all eyes on 3 stars on the rise.
50 metres to go, 2 lengths in front of 10 Tyrus, who's got out. 10 Tyrus mowing it down. 10 Tyrus over the top beat racing course.
This is an absolute annihilation. Beedman has won by 10 lengths. What have we just watched? Beedman.
Nothing making any ground. Bivak up on the speed is going to bring them here in the Golden Rose. And Bivak has whacked them there. What a performance.
Well, he is, Chris Waller, very much the king of Coolmore. And what about this? Since 2013, 6 winners in this race, and he sees himself with a damn good chance today of continuing what has been quite an emphatic record. Ali Gator, it's hard to doubt the man himself is already back to winner today.
He's just the ultimate grand final trainer as well. He's got this way, Gator, of making horses peak exactly when they need to.
Yeah, that's right. We touched on it in the Carbine Club. A race he targets with the right horse, inverted commas, and the Coolmore's become the right race for his best young athletes, and Baywatch fits that bill.
That's right. Baywatch has got so much attention, in particular for this one, coming off the back of the run in the Golden Rose.
It was an outstanding win, wasn't it, Ali? Because he's had to run all the time from the front himself. I think there's a big difference between sitting back at fast speed and running home. If you're doing it all yourself, that's a proper athlete.
Scintillating, and I really like that Hippo's retained the ride because he can be a little bit of a tricky horse, and I think Hippo's found the key to him, so that will only aid his chances. The question is whether he can run a peak again.
Oh, there's so much chat about Bivak. Beedman has your attention here today, Ali.
Oh, Brace, I've been all over this horse from the very first time he stepped out. I'm a big fan, not just of his namesake, Darren Beedman, one of the legends and greatest men around, but this horse is just ready to peak. I saw him first up and he was quite burly, so I thought he had quite a bit of condition. Second up, I mean, this was just, he should have won every day of the week here. That was a huge finish from him, and I can't wait to see how he's come on. He looks like he's really, really come on physically and fitness-wise.
Here's the field for the Coolmore Stud Stakes, the first of our Group 1s over 1,200 metres and 12 runners for us here today, Gator.
Yeah, look, I think it's become one of the greatest races on the calendar. Simple as that. And this year's no exception. The one we haven't referenced in the preview there was 10 Tyrus, who comes off an outstanding return or second up win himself, beating She's an Alibi, who won earlier today.
Well, we've got Michelle and, of course, Cheska standing by in the yard. But, Gator, time for you to double down on your mate, Bivak.
Yeah, look, just a brilliant display of sustained speed. As a relatively young athlete, to break the track record and thrash a horse called Tempted, that horse goes to an Everest and runs second, beats home some of the stars of our turf. I think it's the irresistible form. He's top pick for me.
And, Michelle, you're up close and personal with Bivak.
I am. He's here. He's got a stallion chain and earmuffs, so he must be a horse that can get excitable, but he's actually really calm and behaving himself. He's really loose in his action and he looks really well.
Moving on to McCaw and Cheska, a winner here, 2 starts back.
And I
actually quite fancy this horse, who's just going to take a bit of a turn here to get himself in order. He was a winner down the Flemington Straight 2 starts ago, and then I think he was a bit too keen last time out. Oh, steady. Now, what I've really noticed about this horse is, whilst a lot of the other sprinters here are quite small, quite nuggety, this guy is really big, especially for a 3-year-old gelding. There's a lot of him. Tell you what, I do quite like him at a big price.
Moving on to Tintyrus, and Michelle has received plenty of attention leading into this.
He looks really well as well here. He's just a bundle of muscle, as you can see here. He's very shiny. Also wears the red earmuffs, but he's coping with the occasion really well, and he couldn't present any better.
Ali, Tycoon Star, a winner over the 1200 this prep.
He's not without hope, but he certainly has to take up against these big line, big name colts. He parades in lovely order, though. I love how relaxed he is.
You're also a fan of Skyhook, Craig Williams, big fan too.
He's the fly in the ointment here, most certainly. I feel as though this horse, and we heard from Craig Williams on the show last night, they just have put some headgear on him, and that seems to have switched him on. I feel he could be the horse that we've forgotten about.
Gator, Hidden Motive arrives after a win at Rosehill.
Yeah, and he beat Beedman, who's here, so very easy to make a case, isn't it? Look, Beedman was unlucky, and but he did beat him.
Heading back to the yard, Cheska, the 7 is Raging Force. 4 straight wins, but has missed out the last couple.
Missed out, but not by far, and to Tintyrus. So if you like Tintyrus, I think you can bring this one in at a bigger price. I like him physically because he's strong, yet he looks fit. See there behind the saddle, up into his waist, there's a good defining line, which tells me he is fully tuned up for this.
Gator, Jimmy Rackard, not much went his way in the Danehill here at Flemington.
No, look, he drew gate 1, just in the wrong spot. All the action was wide out past the middle of the track. McGaw and those sort of gallopers. He was no match for Tycoon Star and McGaw prior to that, so others ahead.
Ali, legacy bound, third up and kicked off with a win here.
He did, and he's a really progressive type as well, a son of Ole Kirk. I feel as though he's a horse who will only improve the more racing that he gets. He's probably got a stickier situation to contend with today, though.
Talk up, Beedman.
I'm ready. I've been ready for this since the first time I saw him. I think that he is a serious animal. He was really carrying condition first up. Similar story second up, and a hard luck story. But what I loved most was the jump out down the straight and his attitude. He is just an absolute dude.
Are you just as confident, Michelle?
I am. I love this horse. You can just see by the way he walks around the mounting yard. He really flicks his front feet out. He's just cool, calm and collected. What I also love about him is he really wants to win in his races, and he couldn't actually look any better here today.
Gator, another Chris Waller chance. Sky Glider, 2 starts, 2 wins.
Look, the gut feel is it's just come up a little bit too quick. It just started number 3. But he beat a handy one in Peloton last start. There was a gap to third. That horse, Grand Eagle, you can tie the form in with key rivals here.
And to round it out, My Gladiola, Ali, enjoying a great campaign.
The lone filly in the race too. Look how laid back she is too, with all the boys around her. She's just stretching out beautifully, and her form suggests that she could run right up to them here.
Francesca, your pick of the yard?
Okay, you're going to think this is a little bit strange, but in a really competitive field where everyone's made good cases for the favourites, I'm going for one at a big price. McGaw, I think, is the wrong price. Represents a bit of value, probably for an each-way play.
Thank you, Cheska. Time for the computer to have its say. Our mate Elmo, we stuck with Elmo here? Yes, we have, for the Eliminator. And let's see what he's got to say. And your retort, please, Ali.
Well, I'm happy with Beedman. I'm happy with Tintyrus, Bivart, but I would like to add Skyhook, if I may, Gator.
Same page. Let's do it.
All right. Consensus here from you two against the Eliminator. And countdown well and truly on now for the Coolmore Stud Stakes as we get a tab market update with Jared.
It's been a big battle for favouritism between the Godolphin pair, but the market is really warming to Tintyrus here, now into $2.90, having been, or $4.20 on Wednesday. Bayvakt, open 320 favourite, now 360. Beedman, good support for Beedman. One customer had 9,000 at $5 about 20 minutes ago. Skyhook's next best back to the rest, and there's each-way support for Skyglider, even though it's getting out, they're taking the price. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. So Ali, she's made the case. Beedman and Gators with Bayvakt.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. Look at that. It is a sight here today. Between 80 and 90,000 expected to be coming through the gates here at Flemington as we head out to Billy to set the scene. You're in your element today, mate.
sure am, James. The atmosphere certainly is fit for a Group 1. These are the elite 3-year-old sprinters of our country, and as they come out onto the track here at Flemington, they'll come striding down the straight for the first time, going down to the starting line. This is generally a stallion-making race. So for 8 of these colts coming into this race, a win today would certainly provide a promising stud record post-racing career. And just watching them just glide past me here on the straight of Flemington, only moments from now they'll come thundering down this home straight in front of this huge crowd. Yeah, they're looking magnificent. Will it be Biwak, the Group 1 winner of this field, or maybe the fast-finishing 10 Tyrus? Could possibly be the filly, the only filly in the race. We'll see. The Coolmore Stud Stakes just after the break.
Off and racing. Melbourne's magnificent Spring Carnival. 9 News has the inside running with special live coverage all week. And Alicia and Tom, live from Flemington on Cup Day.
The hottest ticket in town.
9 News next week.
Well, welcome back to Nine's coverage of the 2025 Melbourne Cup Carnival, and we are moving into the Group 1 phase of Victoria Derby Day. The Coolmore Stud Stakes, we travel 1,200 metres, the 6th race of 9 here on the card. Let's go for a ride as we head up the straights, Ali, and see what's ahead of us, and in particular, those jockeys aboard.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see where these horses end up, whether they form a diamond pattern like we've seen in the past. I'm hearing perhaps that the inside is where they want to be, which we don't typically see. So in terms of speed map, I thought that obviously Bivart will be able to roll along. Beedman could be right there on his back, and Tentira seems to get a really nice map gator.
Yeah, that's right. And McGaw's got good early speed as well, even Skyglider. So it does look quite a truly run race. I think they're heading inside, but not inside rail. That seems to be the theme of it.
Stepping out of that mounting yard up onto the set here with us. And Michelle, you haven't changed your mind about Beedman?
No, I'm very happy with him. He just had this sense of feeling about him that he's just in a good frame of mind. Interesting talking about the straight races. It's really quite strategic. You need to get your horse into a really good rhythm. Even if you're leading, doesn't matter as long as your horse is breathing in a pattern. For me, I think the horses having the last say challenging late have the advantage. So I think a horse like Beedman, if he can get the sits, got the edge on them.
All right, tab market mover time. Jared, what have you got for us?
Well, only 2 favourites have won in the past 11 years, but they're firmly with 10 Tyrus here. $4.20 on Wednesday, $2.90 now with Tap.
All right, Centaurus, Avar, for you, Francesca, from what you're hearing, what you're seeing?
Well, that's interesting about the stats for the favourites, although it has been a day where the money has been right and the favourites have been dominating. However, I did hear earlier today that Flemington is a track that has more roughies winning than anywhere else, which is why I have gone for a roughie in the shape of McGaw. Massive prize, as you saw before, confidence rating low, also like Raging Force.
Feels like it's peaking here too. Like we talk about the big crowds coming in, Ali, and they have come in droves here today and lining up trackside as we see the final of the horses coming into the barrier, and we hand it over, the first of 3 straight Group 1s, to Matthew Hill.
So McGaw is going to be the final one here for the first of our big ones, the Coolmore, as McGaw just a little bit hesitant, about to take the outside early. Favourite 10 Tyrus, Mark Zara with the white hat here. Set to run. Ready for the Coolmore. And they're racing. Jumping fairly, 10 Tyrus goes back towards the end. Legacy Bound jump quickly with Skyglider. Skyhook isn't far away on the inside, and Beedman forcing forward. McGaw out wide, virtually on its own, is leading up there as well. So after 250, Beedman led Skyglider and McGaw wider. Legacy Bound and also Bayvart as McGaw is all on its own up the outside. Beedman led the division on the flat side by a length. Legacy Bound, Skyglider and also Bayvart. They were followed next by Raging Force, behind them Hidden Motion. Motive, and also Jimmy Ricard. Towards the back, My Gladiola, with also 10 Tyrus and Tycoon Star. Run of the course proper in the Coolmore, 500 to go. Beedman just in front of Bayvart, who's called upon nice and early. Legacy Bounders next, followed by Skyhook, Jimmy Ricard, Tycoon Star the outside. 10 Tyrus is starting to weave through. 200 to go across the track. 10 Tyrus explodes through for Zara. Took the front, draws clear from My Gladiola. 10 Tyrus is pounding away, and 10 Tyrus a spectacular win. My Gladiola second, third Legacy Bound. They were followed by Bayvart. Skyhook is next, then Tycoon Star, Sky Glider, Raging Force. Further back, Jimmy Ricard. McGorwell back with also Beedman, and also back with those horses, Hidden Motive. 10 Tyrus.
So it's 10 Tyrus, and yep, you guessed it, it's Mark Zara ahead of My Gladiola, Legacy Bound, and Bayvart. And again, that man, Mark Zara, Michelle, he is starring and oh so soon in this Cup Carnival.
He is, and this horse, they said that he got better into the preparation, and they weren't wrong. He just had the beautiful sit off them, so strong to the line. Obviously, Mark Zara's a man in form, jockey's in form, we've got to follow them, and he's riding the favourite in the Derby.
Time to perfection, Ali.
Oh, Mark Zara, we can't overlook this man ever. He is just the ultimate master. He's cool, he's well-timed, and that's exactly what he's done on 10 Tyrus. This horse at one point was favourite for a golden slipper before he went to miss. So they gave him an extra bit of time off, they prepped him up, gave him the furnishing that they needed to come back and do this as a 3-year-old. Hasn't he developed into a beautiful colt?
Yeah, look, it's been a target race for months, as it's referenced, and they just get it right so often. Just sat back, saved for one run, the heavens open. But Matty Hill summed it up. It's just exploded through. It looked a hot race on form and paper, it was, but it turned out a one-horse race with his dominant slate, and he smashed the clock at 1:08 and change.
Well, he's been catching up with him a couple of times already, and he is again. Billy is with Mark.
Yeah, with that same man, Mark Zara, you let out a big cheer coming down the back straight here. Was that more relief or excitement?
Excitement for sure. You know, he's just... I chose him out of a few horses stuck with my barn, the Freedies, and they just had him, you know, absolutely on the ball for today, and just so good when you're involved with the team, and it all pays off. So, yeah, big cheer for sure.
Similar to 2017 on Merchant Navy, had to weave through the pack, but you knew you had the horse underneath you.
Yeah, probably not as not as last minute as that, but Sam Freedman actually, because his work on Tuesday was unbelievable, and Sam Freedman said he might do something special today. And I was like, just take it easy, we get through the race, but he was right. Like, I travelled sort of on horse I wanted to, but geez, halfway through he just picked up underneath me, and I was still a bit far out, but I had to let him rip, and he was just stargazing last 100. Massive win, and yeah, onwards and upwards. What a beautiful horse.
He's a street boss colt. He's worth a bit of money now.
Yeah, maybe a little stallion on wouldn't hurt the Godolphin team, but nah, very happy to be associated with him.
Go and enjoy it, mate. Over to you, TJ.
No one happier in the mounting yard than Sam and Anthony Freedman, and congratulations, guys.
Thanks, TJ. It was big thrill. A lot of hard work's gone into it, so you know it doesn't always pan out like that. But you know, the team at home have done a great job. We're supported by some great staff who have put in a lot of hours, and yeah, for the old man to do it with him is pretty special.
Yeah, I can tell. It's a pretty emotional moment too to bag a Group 1 at any stage. You had 3 words to describe this horse off air, thank goodness. He's good with the last 2.
I think he's very good. He, you know, he today was dominant. Didn't have all the favours, but when produced, showed, you know, electric turn of foot. So, you know, we may run next Saturday. We'll see how he does. He's a very big, tough colt. So, you know, privileged to train for Godolphin and get horses like this. And credit to all the staff here, and particularly credit to Sam. You know, I'm now in Sydney, and he's shouldered everything and produced him here perfectly.
To win a race like this, obviously, is just, you know, almost the pinnacle. But to do it with your dad, that's pretty special, icing on the cake.
Well, it is. I mean, and Godolphin, they've been amazing supporters of ours for a very long time. And this colt has been with us since day one. He's showed a lot the whole way through. And to do it with Dad, who's, you know, he's the reason I'm here today. So, you know, without him, I'm nothing. So it's incredibly special. Yeah.
Nice words, mate.
Cheers.
Congratulations, guys.
Anthony and Sam Freedman, congrats to both of them. Tentaris, ridden by Mark Zara, who has now notched 3 straight wins here on Derby Day. And guess what? He's got the favourite in the Derby. That's next up, right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Quite amazing what happened there, because it's a great story, Tentaris, isn't it, in a lot of ways. And you mentioned up there before, was Golden Slipper favourite, didn't run, had beaten everybody. It was brilliant in the Group 2 Todman Stakes, pulled up sore, was rested, missed the Blue Diamond, and as Sam Freedman said, came back bigger, stronger and more mature and proved it today. What a horse.
Yeah, well, sometimes patience is the hardest thing to have in racing, but it does pay dividends, because if you can just give the horses the time they need, it can really reap the right rewards. And physically, he's not the biggest horse in the parade ring, a little bit like last year's winner, not big and imposing, but small and speedy. And I like the way he's able to just burst through and put the race to bed. He's got the blinkers on and he was really determined. Lovely attitude. And for Godolphin, so important. He's a homebred for them. He's by Street Boss. And in terms of continuing the breed, having a horse to then stand at stud. And look, it's an expensive game. You need these stallions. Yeah. Yes, they're going to be worth fortunes, but you need them to keep funding the whole operation.
And it's great that with Godolphin spreading their horses around for
it's different, isn't it?
It is. And so you look at the famous blue colours and you see a Freedman instead of, like, in recent times, James
You're so
Cummings.
used to seeing James Cummings names, and now it could be Kira Marr, it could be Freedman, it could be Waller. It's a little bit confusing, but it keeps us on our toes.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just been such a spectacular day with the weather and the crowds, the emotion, speaking with Tom Preble just before. But you can really feel the atmosphere building, and when you get to that Group 1 Coolmore, it was magnificent.
Derby Day historically has been the premier race day in Australia. You know, the best horses all turn up, the best jockeys, the best trainers.
Truly a day that brings everyone together. Like, you've got the fashionistas, you've got the everyday Australians going, you've got the racing purists. It's just a great show. It's non-stop entertainment from when the gates open to when the last race is run.
50 metres to go, it's all isthmus. The Victoria Derby for 3-year-olds is the ultimate test for a young horse. Usually the classiest horse wins the Victoria Derby.
I love Derby Day. It's my favourite day of the year.
Those races are so hard. You look at the calendar and the funny horses. I looked at a Derby Day and how good one was good. Best and nothing.
Gold Rush Guru for South Australia, and Gold Rush Guru won the Derby.
There's so much history involved in this race, and I just love how classy we still keep it. We have black and white. It's very, very old school still.
Victoria Derby Day, 1976, and with very pleasant weather prevailing on the day, racegoers made the best of it.
It's a great staying test for the 3-year-olds, and it always brings out a future Melbourne Cup contender, and that's going to be no different this year.
A lot of racing purists would say it's the best day of racing.
Derby Day is a very special day. I was in partnership with my father and we won it. I think it's the biggest win ever in the Derby, a horse called Lion Tamer.
Lion Tamer racing right away. He'll win the Derby by about 6 lengths.
Melbourne Cup Day is the pinnacle in terms of the race, but Derby Days for racing and sporting purists probably equals, if not surpasses, Melbourne Cup Day.
And now Efficient, he's swapping them the favourite and comes away, and Efficient scored brilliantly.
It's just a great week to be attending the races in Melbourne.
Every now and again, that Derby throws up a superstar, and we might see one today, who knows?
Yeah, Greg Miles has got it right. There it is, the Howden Victoria Derby. And it has been building up all day. It has been magnificent. The weather has just warmed up gradually through the day. The fashions on the field have been fantastic. Kids and families, the horses, everything you could possibly want on a day for the classics has been in evidence here today at Flemington. It is really just a spectacular start to what is going to be another 3.5 days of great racing, with the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday for Lexus, the Crown Oaks on Thursday, and then Champion Stakes for TAP on Saturday, with the 3 big races for $3 million to finish off what is an amazing carnival. We might get some weather in between, but in the meantime, let's just enjoy what we have, and look at that for just an amazing scene. You can see the hats are starting to come on as the sun starts to get a little bit hotter here. The TAP caps at the green there, but all the way through the course it is just joy, happiness and sophistication and fun. So now let's get to the real business of what we're all about, and that is the $2 million Howden Victoria Derby over 2,500 metres. Let's head to James Bracey and the team in the mounting yard for this classic.
Thank you so much, Ed. Ticking all the boxes on this Victoria Derby day to kick off the 4 days of the carnival. And it is a sight. The 2,500 metre Howden Victoria Derby just moments away. Michelle, Ali and Gator are all ready to dissect the big one. But it's Mark Zara who comes in with the spring in his step, Michelle. You look at his form today, those 3 straight wins, and he is absolutely buzzy at the moment. On board, get a good feeling. Warney and then Tintaris in the first of the Group 1s, the Coolmore Stud Stakes. And now he and a lot of others are fancying his chances on the back of Observer in the Derby.
Yes, they always say as a jockey you've used up all of your luck, but as a jockey you're like, God no, you're in the zone, you're flying, you're focused. You don't have time in between runs to be thinking, oh, have I used up my luck? You're ready for the next one, and Mark will just be so excited that he's on a run.
Of course, the bigger the race, we end up today with our biggest field so far as well. Plenty of competition out there for him, Ali, as we have a look at our starting list for today's second Group 1.
Well, this is what makes this race so intriguing and so classic, because none of these horses have seen the trip yet, so we can look back through their breeding to see if they're able to run out the trip. We can look back through their form. Of course, we've dissected that, but ultimately we need to find a winner, don't we?
Yep, that's the plan, Ali, and you're right. They haven't tested that sort of endurance, those depths of endurance yet, and they're such young athletes too. So, yeah, but Mark's in great form. I mean, he can go forward, he can go back, and I wonder what he'll do on Observer. Drawn a good draw, perfect gate for that horse. You heard, I got it out. I think they'll just take a sit in behind, help him run the trip.
Is Observer the real deal, Ali?
I think he is, and what we always sometimes overlook with Kieran Maher, and yes, perhaps he was obviously eased down to the line here, and maybe you would have liked him to have a good hit out here in his most recent run, but the thing with Kieran Maher is that he always has them spot on physically, and I'm told, Michelle, that he's a very clean-winded horse. He's got great aerobic capacity.
I think also with that, Ali, when you see a horse ease down like that, he wasn't all out. He's had a good hit out. Mark asked him for an effort, and then he eased him down. The horse has had a beautiful day out at the races. When you have these stepping stones with these 3-year-olds going to a 2,500 metre derby, it's all that preparation along the way. So, to be honest, it looks like it's perfect for him. It's just whether he can stay the trip, but he just looks to have all the class that you need.
Ali, you're true to form here. You've gone a little wide again, trying to find some value for our punters at home.
Look, Brace, if you don't have a crack on Derby Day, when will you? So I've gone with some previous form of Waller, actually. A similar story with Preferment, his 2014 Derby winner coming out of a Geelong Classic, and I just thought this horse had so much more to offer, albeit it was against the pattern as well, and when he finally got out, the way he hit the line suggests to me that he is right on target for the 2,500, and as you mentioned, Michelle, that's what's so important.
Exactly. It's such an open derby. We've got so many live chances, but you see here, Benny Mellum really hitting the line strongly here. It was a good run classic, so it was a test of stamina, but there's just so many chances, and I think it's just going to be such a great race.
We're about to see those first 3 finishes all feature here in the derby as we set the scene with Cheska.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, like you guys were discussing there. What kind of a derby are we going to get? Are they going to set a bit of a tempo here? Is it going to be a test of stamina? Or are we going to see what we think is the best horse just win? And that would be Observer. I'm going to have a look at him in a minute. But what about the crowds here today? Have a look at that, up at the club stand. Here we get slightly more to the professionals in here by the mounting yard. These are all the connections with their horses about to run in one of the most important races of the year. It is all set to play out, and I need to go and have a look at these thoroughbreds.
Most certainly do. You stay right where you are, Cheska. We're going to fire up the engine for our eliminator, and Gator, Ali, and Michelle, if you're brave enough, take on the algorithm.
Unbelievable, this result, Gator, isn't it? Observer and Providence, the only two hopes that the eliminator have given us.
Yeah, they've been brave. I'm going to add in Options, who was luckless in that replay we just saw behind Observer and Co. And think O'Shamus, the 9, looks a genuine stayer. So, yeah, perhaps you've got to throw in your roughie, though.
Oh, of course. Savvy Santa has to go in there. We can't not have him in there. And O'Shamus, as you mentioned, I'm with you there. So it looks as though it's the Vars form and then my roughie, Savvy Santa.
All right, you've given us some options as we head to the mounting yard and go through the field for the running of the Victoria Derby today over 2,500 metres. Observer, the first to have a look at Ali, race favourite, and of course we know why.
Oh, he's obviously the one to beat, isn't he? And as we talked about, this interesting fact with his aerobic capacity, so he just can suck in so much air, and that's such an important part for a horse going forward to 2,500. It's just like a marathon runner, really, isn't it, Cheska?
Yeah, it sure is, Ali. Now, what am I saying about him in the mounting yard? Well, he's a good stamp of a horse. He's not particularly big. On pedigree, Gaiath, his sire, suggests a bit of staying power there. But what's going to happen tactically? Do you see how he wears this Norton bit here? Now, he can be a little bit keen. That'll give the jockey a little bit more control. We think he's the best horse in the race, but he needs to settle and get the trip.
High Vol, the next to have a look at. Gator just missed in the Geelong Classic.
Look, he was brave. He led at an even speed, but then up the ante, probably 800 from home. And he had the 60 kilos, so he meets all those from that race much better at the weights here.
Autumn Mystery, Ali, chasing the third win on the trot.
And wouldn't it be a fantastic story for this young trainer, a son of the autumn sun, gets the right jockey aboard and coming into this off a win over 2,000.
Miwa, always in the finish, Michelle.
He is. He's been building up to this derby beautifully. He presents here really well. As you can see, he's just got a really lovely staying walk on him. He's been a bit unlucky in the past, but Flemington will suit him, and he looks outstanding here today.
All right, next have a look at Gator. Options, Harry Coffey with the ride today.
Well, he beat key rival, Miwa, 2 runs ago, and it was probably all on as him. Then went to the Vars, the Valley race, and just didn't have much luck at a key stage, so we didn't really get the opportunity to open throttle and tie the form together.
The Gator, of course, Providence, second in the Vars at Moonee Valley.
Well, he was the one charging home. Look, I know Observer was eased down, but I don't think he handled the tight Moonee Valley track all that well, yet his last 200 sectional on the day was elite, relative to some good older horses. So I think getting to Flemington big track in 2,500, I'm Team Providence.
Are you as well, Francesca?
Well, I'm just having a good look at him here, and I think he had a hard enough race last week trying to run down Observer. He is an 8-start maiden, just remember that, and I wonder if he's had a few hard runs this preparation, because he's just looking a fraction on the light side for me.
All right, over to Michelle, and Azaziel has been enjoying a great spring with Michael D in the saddle.
He has, but a bit similar to what Cheska said about Providence, he's a bit light as well. Might be the type of horse that he is. He's on his toes, so he's not the type of horse you would say specifically he's a staying type, but he looks very healthy in his coat, but yeah, it'd be an interesting watch for him.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Ali, Cora, looking for an improved performance today.
Absolutely. I'm not against that Geelong Classic form. Obviously, I like Savvy Santa, but that was the horse that I took out of that race.
O'Shamus, the connections, Gator, be happy with what they've seen of late?
Yeah, for sure. I like the way he found the line in the Vars. He raced tight at a key stage. You'd think he'd eat 2,500. Good value hope here. Ali Yamazaki is chasing its first wins.
Yeah, so fourth up into the preparation off a 2,000-metre run coming through that autumn mystery form. I thought was solid enough.
Engine of War, and found the going pretty tough over the 2,000 metres last start, Gator.
Yeah, I think they went forward, and it was to Horse's detriment. When he was ridden colder, as in further back, prior to that here at Flemington, he ran really well, so he could improve here at a decent price.
To the yard with Cheska. Matsuda Cheska, a win at Sale 2 starts back, catching the eye.
Plenty to do on form, James, with with Matsuda, but I've got to say, I was going through the pedigrees for this horses, and I realised his dam is called Courtesan. Turns out I used to own the mare, and I sold her in foal to this guy, so that's quite a strange occurrence. But good luck to the team here. He's a big, good-looking individual, but he can be a little bit one-paced.
One step closer, Ali, looking to take one big step today.
I like that. I've seen this horse on numerous occasions, and to be honest, it's the best that I have ever seen him parade. Very laid back today too.
And you want to double down on Savvy Santa while you've got the opportunity?
Oh, I absolutely do. I'm going to go again. I am interested to see how he parades, so I'd like to hear Michelle's thoughts. But as I've said, I just feel it's a very similar setup to Preferment in 2014.
And Michelle, you've got your eyes on Ali's pick.
He does look good, actually. He presents very well, and I'm here now with Savvy Santa. It's not a lot of this horse. It's interesting when you get here alongside them race day. He's very healthy and well, but I did think others presented a bit better.
Third start for McWoody, Gator.
It's not easy, is it, to win a marathon off such a short preparation. Start number 3, and he draws awkwardly, but he was rock solid in that Norman Robinson. The level of improvement into this is the obvious key.
And our final runner, Francesca, deal done fast. It's a little close to home for you too.
Yes, this feels like a yearly occurrence, doesn't it? With a Matt Kamani runner in the Derby. Now he's run 3 times and he's yet to win a race, so he does need to improve. He finished in a cluster in that Norman Robinson, but if there's one horse who is bred to stay the trip, it is this horse. It is a 2,500 metre race. He's got plenty of stamina on his side. Now here we have all the jockeys and trainers banked up waiting to put their jockeys on their mounts. Here is my brother, so let's have our yearly catch-up in the mounting yard ahead of the Derby. This is a race that you like to target and have come close in before, isn't it?
Yes, we came second very frustratingly back in 2020, beaten by a footy legend in Dennis Pagan, so I didn't mind that too much, but now it's just getting ridiculous. We really need to win it. We came 4th last year, and I'm hoping this horse, as a rough outsider, could do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He is a bit of a roughie. What makes you think that he's in with a squeak?
Well, you don't really know with these horses, do you? There's so little form that it's impossible to really tell. But I think he's a really progressive horse. He's one that's found to love the distance. We saw him really tough in his last few races. He's improving all the time. Whether he's quite ready this prep, maybe next prep, but I'm certainly hoping to see him strong to the line.
Okay, well, your dad and my dad won 2 derbies at Epsom. It's about time you won one of these. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Good on you. Sis giving it to bro right there in the mounting yard as we get a tap market update with Jared.
Brace, the bookies are on the ropes heading into the Derby. If Observer wins here, it may well be a knockout. 230 into 210. Very heavily backed here, although respect for the bets for Providence. Clearly best back to beat at $7.50 into $5. Order Mystery, $18 on Wednesday, $10 now. Options has just been 10 back to 12. At odds, each way support for O'Shamus and Savvy Santa. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. So Ali be happy to hear that money for Savvy Santa, and Providence very well backed for Gator as well.
Brilliant. There we have it. Ali and Gator very confident about their picks. Cheska, your final word.
Now, if you like the favourite, I wouldn't put you off him. Observer does look really good. I had actually picked on paper O'Shamus as a bit of an outsider, but I've got to say I didn't like what I saw in the mounting yard. I think Options has a lot of positives, and he looks really well in the yard.
Brilliant stuff. All in readiness for the running of the Howden Victoria Derby over 2,500 metres. Do not go anywhere. It's next, live from Flemington.